All right, road ready.
All right. Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of Patriot Memories. And today's subject will be a man who won back-to-back state championships at Winston Academy in 1999 and 2000. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in all of 50 years in Winston Academy, I think you're the only coach to ever win consecutive state championships, I believe. And my guess, he's now the offensive coordinator at Brandon High School, Wyatt Rogers. Coach, how are you today?
Hey, Matt, how you doing, man? It's good to see you.
You too. Before we talk, just share some Winston stuff. I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, where did you go to school? Where did you go to college? And what you did before you came to Winston?
I went to graduated from high school in Macon, Georgia, and went to Ole Miss. Got my undergraduate degree there. When I graduated, I went over and coached for a year in Louisiana. Then I went as a graduate assistant coach to Delta State, coach running backs for a year, and went from there to Lamar School in Meridian as the head football coach. Was there a year and was fortunate enough to get the opportunity to go to Winston in 1999. And, you know, it was 2 great years there. Then I had the opportunity to come back later on when I decided to get back into football. So it was it's always been a special place for me, and it always will be.
All right. We'll talk about your first stint in '99. What was the initial meetings like with at Winston, especially with Mr. Rigby?
Oh, it was great. You know, Coach Rigby, the community really was very conducive to building and maintaining and willing to do the little things that it took to be successful, to continue the tradition that Coach Hudspeth and Coach Brewer had set in the 2 years prior, or 3 years prior prior to my getting there.
Of course, to let everybody know, in '98, Nick Brewer led the Patriots to their second straight state championship. I think they lost 1 game that year, and then you came in. Did you come in like during the spring of '98, '99, or was it before the next school year?
It was the spring of '99. So I got to go through spring ball with them. I think Coach Brewer went to Jackson Prep there, and I got the opportunity to come in and got to go through spring with the guys, and really thought we had a chance to be special. And I think Winston had won had lost maybe 2 games in the last 3 years. Well, here I am and going and lose my first 2. So it was an eye opener right off the bat. But special group of kids, special time in the community. Just a great time in my life.
Yeah, of course. Who did y'all beat to win the state championship in '99?
In '99, we beat Magnolia Heights in Clinton at Mississippi College to win the state championship.
And of course, there was some good athletes on both those years, '99 and 2000. '99, guys like Taylor McNeil and Wesley Wright and Jonathan Haggard, and just to name a few. And
the Triplet brothers and the Boatner brothers, and you could go on, and it's just Nathan Gresham and Casey Smith and Robert Pry. I mean, I hate to name names because as soon as I do, I leave people out.
You're gonna leave somebody out, yeah.
That's right. And I'll be in the bed and like going, "Dad, gummit, did I mention his name?" It'll be somebody that played which all the kids did played a huge part in our success.
Yeah, it was like that last week when I talked to Coach Paul Anderson. He didn't want to name names. He just because he was afraid he was going to leave somebody out. Of course,
that's the fact we're getting old too, right? I mean,
yeah.
It's I'm getting a little long in the tooth here, Dale.
Yeah. Well, of course, that 2000 team, it was from I believe y'all didn't start out too well, and then y'all made a huge run, and then y'all won the state championship that year. Do you remember anything? What are memories from that?
Oh man, I remember we were playing. I've got a lot of the Kirk game. It was the last regular season game, and Kirk was loaded. I mean, they had a really good team. I think they may have had one loss or no losses, and we played them the last regular season game, and at their place, and we lose Wesley Wright, and we're backed up on our own goal line coming out, and Taylor McNeil and the guys around him, we had kind of run an empty 5 wide receiver package for basically we put it in really just to have a little fun and be able to do the 7-on-7 thing during the summer because we were our heart at that time was more triple option. But you lose a guy like Wesley Wright in the triple option, and you go from having a triple option to really not having much of an option. So I told the guys, I said, look, our back's against the wall, and we just lost, our fullback, and we had continually worked this 5 wide receiver package throughout the course of the year, maybe 10 minutes a day, just to keep it fresh. It gave more skilled athletes a chance to get on the field. And I told them, I said, we're fixing to sling it around, and we're not going to go. We're not punting the football. And at the time, we're on our own 1 yard line. And I'm thinking, looking back now at 48 years old, I would have never made that statement now. But I guess I was just dumb or crazy at the time and said, we're not punting it. So we didn't punt it, and we ended up converting some 4th downs, and we go 99 yards and probably a 10-play drive. We don't run the ball the rest of the game. And we ended up losing the ball game. We missed a field goal right at the end of the game. That could have gone either way. But I knew when we were leaving that field at night that nobody was going to beat us again because people couldn't prepare for both. And Taylor McNeil that night was like 33 of 48 for over 400 yards passing. I mean, it was a beautiful thing, and it kind of gave us. And then Wesley comes back later in the season, and you have the ability to do both. And all of a sudden, somebody, if you're playing us, you've got some problems at that point. So, that's a memory that I'll always carry with me is how locked in our kids were, and because we went through probably 12 weeks of the season or 10 weeks and never really used that offense a whole lot, but we kept working it, and then all of a sudden at the end we had to have it to win to get through the playoffs, and the rest of that league had problems. So,
who did y'all play in the state championship that year?
Bowling Green out of Louisiana.
Yeah,
they had a good team, very, very physical. We played them on a really, really muddy field. It wasn't a field that was very conducive to running a lot of shotgun and throwing the ball around. So at this time, Wesley has back, and we put Taylor under center, and we go back and run our triple option stuff, and really had a good night. I think even though we were under center in a flex bone type set, I want to think Philip Harrison had a couple long touchdown. Well, I know he had a 97 or 96-yard touchdown pass right there that blew the game open. And then Caleb Metz had a couple big plays there, but it was just so many good players on those teams, man. I mean, really, really good football players.
All right. Well, after the 2000 season, of course, there was some changes. Where did you go after that season?
I went to UT Martin as the wide receivers coach. I thought I wanted to be a college football coach. That had been my goal, coming up, through college and high school. Got up there and didn't really I didn't enjoy it as much as I did high school football. So I went back after a year at UT Martin, went back with Ed Stanley. Had just got the job at Meridian High School. So I went with him as offensive coordinator down there for 3 years.
And of course, you eventually came back, and I believe it was 08, 2008.
Yes, sir. 2008.
And of course, I wouldn't be remiss if I said that you replaced Brian Sims. I believe he led the teams in 07 and 08 to the North State Championships, especially the 08 one where we lost 14-7 to Marshall, and that was like one of the coldest games I've ever been to. And he ended up leaving. Sims ended up leaving, going to Starville Academy, and then that's when you came back. How were things the second time around than it was first time?
I can remember, 2008, just having a great feeling. Just number one, to be back in football felt great, and then obviously to be back at Winston, really felt good because I had some contacts there, and I knew the tradition, was still intact. Coach Sims had done a great job with the program. Had a really good group coming back. Probably one of the better offensive lines that I've had with that group, and just a really solid group of players. I wish I would have had them for about 3 or 4 more months. We got there after. I believe it was we got to do spring ball. It was kind of a shortened version of it, if I remember correctly. It was great. It was great to be back.
Yeah, the 08 team, of course. I believe it was Tyler Dalton was the quarterback. I think Austin Harrison was one of the receivers, and of course, talking about that lineman, like Brett Estes, that name comes to mind, and
Davis Taylor.
Yes.
Hugh Johnson. You said Brett Estes, John Mark Carter. I mean, they were all, they were really, really good up front. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody right there, but it was a solid group. They did a great job. I feel like, matter of fact, Tyler Dalton texted me yesterday and said every now and then, I guess he has flashbacks about once every 6 months. He'll text me and say, "Man, we should have won it all," and he's right. We should have. It's probably my fault not having us better prepared to play in a wet on a wet night. But you live and learn, and it was probably one of the tougher losses in my career because I do feel like we had a really, really solid team. So
I'm trying to think. Was it Leak or was it who was it?
Lee.
It was Leak.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Clarksdale Lee. Okay.
It was a really rainy night, and of course Clarksdale Lee played in it just like we did, and I don't remember the score. It was a touchdown or less game, but it was just a night where we had some injuries and we just couldn't get anything really going offensively, but we struggled and played well enough defensively to win. Just couldn't get anything going offensively. So
it was a tough night, I'll tell you. Of course, after 09, you left. Did you go? You end up going to Brandon afterwards?
Yeah, we went to I came to Brandon in 2010, the spring of 2010. So I had Tyler Sullivan, the year after, I guess, the 09 football season.
Yeah.
Which would have been the 2010 academic year. And that was a team that had a lot of youth and got better every week of the season. And, we ended up winning the conference championship. We beat Oak Hill.
Oh, yeah. I remember that because I believe if it hadn't been for it was one of my friend Ron Parts. This was like one of the first years I tried to get my feet wet in the helping out with football. And I remember it was the Oak Hill game that was supposed to be played that Friday. It was bad weather so much they had to postpone it to Saturday. And
that's right.
Even though it was sunny, the weather was not that. It was still horrible. It was muddy, and we had to play.
It was really muddy. Yeah. really muddy, and that was a group that got better every week of the season. Had a lot of guys that hadn't played a whole lot, and were put in roles there that they were ready for, just didn't have a lot of experience.
Yeah.
And got better, and lost a close one in the playoffs that year to Indianola. We get stopped down the goal line just a yard or two short, and it was a group that that conference champions, particularly with the way that we started the season, so inexperienced at so many positions. I'm still really proud of that group.
And of course, Tyler has gone on to great things, and he was actually my first guest I had on the series. And when he mentioned some of the coaches that he was fortunate to play for, of course, your name came up on the list, and that he had some great memories with.
Man, he's a class act. He comes from good folks, and I couldn't be more proud of him. I mean, he's going to do big things, and nothing that he's accomplished has been a surprise. I mean, I tried to get him to come with me to Brandon when I came to Brandon, because he's special talent. But it was a testament, to his love for Winston Academy and what a special place it is, that he stayed.
All right. Well, I know Coach Anderson told some stories. Do you have any stories that you want to tell us?
Well, I've got one, and it's kind of been a sworn secret. I hope Joe Ward don't kill me for telling it, but we started a deal where we would practice on Thursday morning during the season, because you normally have a Thursday walkthrough. So we swapped that to Thursday morning because we had some, junior high games on Thursday afternoon, and it gave kids time to kind of catch their breath and what have you. So we would practice Thursday morning, and it would literally be dark. We would have to cut the lights on. And this is back when this is probably either 99 season or 2000. So, of course, Joe Ward, man, you can't say enough about him. You need to interview him. If you interviewed me once, you need to go interview Joe Ward 10 times. I mean, he's but anyway, he was out there, and he did a great job helping us. I don't know if he or I thought of it, but it was back in the time of the Scream movies, with the mask and
yes,
the cape. So we're out there practicing, and it is pitch black, and we've got the lights on, and we're working, our special teams run through real quick, and we get toward the end, and we have kind of it all planned out. We're working onside kick, and that's normally our hands team. So I get over there, and I'm kind of moving the ball around and making sure they adjust, and I'm actually kicking the ball just to give them a little work there. So I kick one on purpose, and we have got Jesse Ward hidden up in the visitors' bleachers, and he doesn't say a word the entire practice. Nobody noticed it. And he stands up and kind of walks down there on the track to probably about, if you were in the concession stand area on the home side, if you look straight across, that's about where Jesse would be. So I kick a ball over there when we were working on our hands team, our anti-onside group. And, of course, all of a sudden they see big old Jesse Ward, who at the time was probably a seventh grader, still a great big guy. I can't remember what grade. He's going to kill me for that. But so a couple of the kids see him. He's got this big Scream outfit on. And at the time back there, I don't know if it's still the same, but they had a bunch of pine trees planted there on the opposite side of the practice field. So Jesse starts walking out where the kids see him. They go, hey, there. And about that time, a couple of them got brave and kind of, grouped up and went chasing after him. Jesse ran down there in the woods, and they didn't go down the woods after him. But until this day, nobody knew about it. Nobody knew the full story. And it's been a lot of fun sharing that, throughout the years, because nobody ever knew who it was. And it was, oh my gosh, me and Joe and Jesse had so many laughs about that. It was great.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
Yeah, Jesse's a good one. I think he's at Richland High School now.
Well, actually, he just took a job at Tri-County Academy
Oh, okay.
here last week or so. So, he's got a new family, so he'll do good up there.
Of course we'll see them in the fall
That's
because
right.
because we they're in our conference. Of course, it's different from football than the other sports, but yeah, we'll see them in the fall. Well,
That's it.
before we go, what advice that you would you give to future future students at not only Winston Academy but on how to be successful and all that?
I think you just got to find something you love, and if you love what you do, you never actually go to work. Um, Something that you can give great effort in, and don't mind giving great effort, because at the end of the day, your effort's going to determine whether you're successful or not. And sometimes we all hate to admit that, but that would be my number two piece of advice I would give. My number one would be enjoy your time at school and in athletics. Don't focus. Don't try to streamline yourself into I'm a baseball player or I'm a football player. Um, I think that's one great thing about a kid like Tyler Sullivan, Taylor McNeil, Tyler Dalton is they gave themselves a chance to enjoy football and basketball and and just enjoy it, because when you blink, it's gone, and you don't ever get a time to go back. And enjoy your folks. I got another quick story, Matt, but
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Joel Triplett, of course, he had two boys that played for me.
Yeah,
And,
BJ and Ray, yeah.
right, yeah, absolutely. And he was married to Lisa, great people. But Joel had this gift where he could almost predict the score of who we were playing. So undoubtedly, every Wednesday or Thursday night, we were getting ready to play somebody. I would be nervous as a cat on a hot tin roof, and I'd call Joel, and he would tell me, "Yeah, y'all gonna win," blah 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 blah. And of course, I would be like, "Oh God, that's the curse of death." But inevitably, he was almost always right, And I know he's passed away now, but I wanted to share that because I always thought that was really cool, and he was a guy I always enjoyed visiting with. So, really good people. That's the thing that I'll carry with me forever. It's just really good people that, I can remember us pulling into Macon, Mississippi, and man, as far as you could see in front of the bus, there was cars with Winston flags on them. As far as you could see behind the bus, we brought the city of Louisville and the Winston Academy community to Macon or to wherever we were going that weekend. It was a special time. It really was.
I'll tell you, and I've been fortunate to be over the last decade or so doing announcing for Winston Academy, and I've been fortunate to be around some great coaches in all sports: football, basketball, baseball, like yourself, and then
I appreciate that,
Mr. Rigby, and now as they go to another generation, it's like
right.
I have parents, I have coaches from other schools that said, "I tell you, Winston Academy would not be as
That's
well
right.
without you there." Talking about me.
That's right. That's right. And they're lucky to have you, because this like just what you're doing now. It's a great way to get the word out about Winston, to promote the school and athletics, and you do a great job of that. So keep it up, man. That's what it's all about.
I appreciate it, Coach, and I appreciate you
Absolutely
doing this. And any last words?
Go Patriots. Good luck this fall.
I love it. All right. Thanks, Coach, and thanks everybody for watching. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, man.
All right.